Ito ng bagong pananaw sa produksyon, malakas ang kooperasyon. Katuwang ng mga magsasaka, pamahalaan at pribadong sektor. Dadagdagan ang kaalaman sa kabuhayan, sa negosyo.
Maayong himsog nga adlaw mga ka-agri-friends.
Ako si Cass.
Ako sad si Vic Palarca.
O kami yung makauban karong adlaw.
Karong bulana ginasaulog nato ang Nutrition Month celebration with the theme New Normal na Nutrisyon, sama-samang gawan ng solusyon.
Yes, kay naghisgot man ta og Nutrition Month mga ka-agri-friends. Unsa na sad ang sulod sa inyong hunahuna karon?
That's right, Cass. Nutrition og mga lamian nga pagkaon.
So meaning mabusog kita karong adlaw, Kuya Vic.
Yes.
No?
Ug tara ubani kami ni Cass sa Cagayan de Oro City para mag-adto sa sikat nga eskwelahan nga
expert sa pagluto-luto.
Yes,
diba,
that's right.
Yes, so tara mga ka-agri-friends.
Masagan ang ani, mataas na kita, maunlad na buhay ng mga magsasaka at mga mangingisda. Siguradong pagkain sa buong bansa. Masagan ang ani, mataas na kita, maunlad na buhay ng mga magsasaka at mga mangingisda.
Cass na nag-graduate sa Culinary Institute of Cagayan dito sa siyudad sa Cagayan de Oro City. Sila ang gibansagan nga Premier Culinary School of Cagayan de Oro City.
So nag-isgot kag culinary school ko, so sure ko magkaon-kaon na sa
Yes,
karon,
magluto,
no?
magkaon, and the most important thing is to have fun. O
Yes.
mabusog.
So tara mga ka-agri-friends.
Pagkain sa buong
Good morning, Good morning po.
Welcome to CIC po.
Good morning.
Kayo po ang may appointment ni Chef Troy ngayon.
Yes po. Okay. Mga ka-agri-friends, ubani kami sa among kitchen tour diri sa IC with Chef G.
Hello mga ka-agri-friends! So, kuyugi mi para atong itour ang kitchen nato sa CIC. So, mauni siya ang atong mga workstations. And then, atong stove, atong oven, wherein naagihapon tayo oven sa pikas. And then here, then ato ang sink. Dali, ato ta sa pikas. So, mauni ang atoang baking kitchen. Na atay oven, complete. Here. Atong workstation. And ato ang pantry.
So, Chef G, unsa ang mga courses nga gi-offer at the moment sa CIC?
So at the moment, we have our culinary regular class, which is 9 months. We offer it for 9 months, once a week lang. And then we also have the intensive culinary class. Maugihapon na siya, 4.5 months lang. And then, ang amuang culinary is with holistic nutrition, which is kaning ano siya, first in Mindanao and the whole Philippines nga mag-offer ana nga ang atoang focus is appeal ang atoang nutrition. So we offer subjects nga na nutrition nga ka-compute food sa kanang mga calories. So mas specific yun siya. And also, yes, and then also we have the baking. We are also open pa sa baking, and then we offer it for 5 months. And then we have the barista. So, kuan po ang amo ang barista kaning 16 days training.
And kaning mga trainings, Chef G, NC2 accredited siya.
Yes, NC2 accredited. So, kuan po sa mga succeeding batches, we will offer the NC3 na.
Wow,
yes.
so nice kayo. So mga ka-AgriFriends, unsa pa inyong gihulat? Ga-offer sila diri og NC2 and direct sa syudad pagyud sa Cagayan de Oro City.
And also sa mga short-time courses, pwede nimo ma-invite atong mga ka-AgriFriends chefs sa inyong mga workshop, pangkabuhayan workshop.
Yeah, sa mga AgriFriends, so i-follow lang mi sa among Facebook, which is ang Culinary Institute of Cagayan de Oro. So para mas ma-update sila whenever nga naami mga upcoming nga mga workshops, so pangkabuhayan, ay mga kiddie workshops. So dito lang mo para mas ma-update mo.
So Miss G, kinsa gid ang pwede maka-enroll sa CIC?
So ang maka-enroll din sa CIC is pwede bisag kinsa as long as high school graduate po.
So mga ka-AgriFriends, sa mga interesado gyud diri nga mo enroll sa CIC, ayaw na mo paglangan. Visit ang ilang Facebook page for more updates. Mga ka-AgriFriends, naanagita diri sa kusina sa Culinary Institute of Cagayan de Oro City. Kuya Vic, kinsa ni sila ato ang mga kuyo gani?
Yes, guys, now we're here with Chef Tron Morales, the Program Director of CIC, alongside with Miss Gertrude Alovera. Chef?
Good morning to our AgriFriends and viewers of our webinar series. I've been teaching here at the CIC for the past 11 years. I studied in CCA back in 1998. We were the second batch. We were the first culinary school in the Philippines. And then after that, I went to work in the US, in Australia, and in the Middle East until by accident I found my passion in cooking. So I've been teaching for 11 years. This is something that I love doing.
Wow.
And Chef?
Chef Gertrude?
Hi! So,
Pag-introduce atong,
hello mga ka-AgriFriends. So, I'm Chef G. I'm the academic coordinator of Culinary Institute and also the chef instructor. Actually, ganahan na gud luto-luto, most especially sa baking. And then I also enrolled myself sa wherein mas naka-experience ko in Canada before I decided to go home, and thankfully mo po'y pag-start na ko din sa Culinary Institute.
So mga ka-AgriFriends, murag kabalo ko nga excited na gid kay mo, no? So Vic?
yes, and right now we're going to have a cooking demo with Chef Troy and Chef G.
Kay kani siya nga episode mga ka-AgriFriends sa agi ni sa pagselebrar nato sa Nutrition Month. So,
Chef Troy?
Okay, hello everyone. So our first dish for today, I'll be making curry tofu. So we will be making everything from scratch. So the ingredients that I have here are, I have cardamom, I have garam masala, I have cumin, I have coriander, turmeric, coconut sugar, I have lemongrass, I have here tofu, ginger, coconut milk, chili, fresh tomatoes, red onions, and preferably cottage cheese since it's lower in fat, but we couldn't find any, so I'm just going to be using cream cheese. And of course, standard would be salt and pepper. Now, if you find that some of the spices are difficult to find, we can actually substitute all these with our curry powder, the one that is commonly found in the groceries and in the market, just to make things easier for you. And if you don't want to use tofu, you just want to use pure vegetables, in terms of flavor, I would recommend you using eggplant, young corn, bell peppers, because in terms of flavor, I know that they would blend very well together. So now let's begin. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna heat our pan and
in low, medium heat.
I'm just gonna crank it up to high heat because we're gonna have to saute some of our vegetables just to soften it. So pour enough oil, enough to coat your tomatoes, your onions, the chilies, garlic. So wait for it to heat up. And then after that, you can put your onions. If you want to use white onions, you can use white onions.
Ano po yung difference ng red tsaka white? Sa lasa po ba siya?
Usually, the red ones we use more for salad. It's used for salads. But since we're gonna cook it and blend it anyway, it's gonna be mixed with all other spices. It wouldn't matter anymore because it's the flavors of all the other spices will be able to overpower the flavor of the onion. So just sweat it first, okay? And then I'm gonna add ginger, lemongrass. I added about 3 tablespoons of onions, about 2 teaspoons of ginger, and about a tablespoon of lemongrass. And okay, so I'm gonna ask our hosts,
Sige, go po
how
yun.
spicy do you want this to be?
Spicy talaga.
Moderate.
Mild?
Spicy, yeah, spicy.
Spicy.
Medium, or you're gonna be feeling sorry tomorrow?
Huwag naman sorry.
So medium.
Medium.
Okay, medium daw. Okay, so since I'm Bicolano, I don't know whether we have the same definition of what medium is, but maybe 1.5 teaspoon would be enough to give it a kick.
Oh,
Okay?
yung ano pa lang ha, yung ginger tsaka onions pa lang yung nalagay ni Chef, pero sobrang bango na po mga ka-agri-friends.
Okay. Next, our fresh tomatoes, and then so basically, why am I doing this? This is basically part of the curry paste. So the reason why I'm sweating everything and trying to soften it is because now I'm gonna switch it down to low heat because I don't want to burn the onions and the ginger. I just want to try soften the tomatoes. What I'm gonna do after is that I'm gonna transfer this to the blender.
So na-add na po yung lemongrass, Chef, no?
Yes.
Diba usually po yung dahon, yung lemongrass yung nilalagay natin.
Yes.
Pero ngayon, yung ano po, stock, yung white ones po yung nilagay natin.
Yes. So whenever you make curry, what you use is the bottom part of the lemongrass. Okay, just get rid of the very end, the roots. Use the white part. Then, sayang naman if you're gonna throw away the green part. So what you can do is to boil it in water. Okay, you can add a bit of ginger, then a bit of calamansi.
So, tea na siya.
You can make it into, you can serve it as a hot lemongrass tea or cold, refreshing beverage.
So mga ka-agri-friends, wala gid gihapon tayo masayang no kung mogamit ta atong tanglad kay mapuslan gihapon nato as hot and cold tea.
So now, I have already switched off the heat, switched off the fire. What I'm gonna do now is to transfer it to our blender. So now, I'm gonna transfer our sauteed tomatoes, ginger, onions, chili in our blender. And I'm gonna ask Chef to set this aside, please. And we're gonna puree this. Okay, assuming hindi siya ma-blend, hindi kainin, what you can do is just to add a bit of water. So ayan, no need. If nakita ninyong na-puree naman siya, nakain ng blender, no need to add liquid. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check if there are any lumps. Okay, so you wanna check, you wanna see? So make sure there are no lumps left. Okay. So,
Salsa na lang po sana.
except really puree talaga to. Actually, you can keep this and repack this, keep this inside your freezer. If you feel like making curry, vegetable curry in the future, just get this from your freezer, thaw it out, and then mix it. Okay, so now that we are done with our puree, so this will serve as our thickener, I am now going to start roasting the spices. Okay, so we have here our chaat masala or garam masala. This is about 1 full tablespoon, followed by our coriander, 1 teaspoon.
So, lahat ng dry na seasoning po.
Yes.
I-mix.
Yes, we will. And then, followed by cumin. This is 1 teaspoon. And then 2 teaspoons of turmeric. And then later, we're gonna add the coconut sugar to adjust the taste. And also, I'm gonna add cardamom seeds. So now, I don't know, but since everyone's wearing masks, I think everyone's able to smell it naman. So basically, the reason why we are lightly roasting this is we want to be able to intensify the flavor. So, sige, be honest, ano ang naaamoy ninyo? Some would be reminded of something else. Yeah, maybe pleasant or not so pleasant. So I want you to notice, look at the color, it changes. It's gonna get darker. Okay? So once you can smell the intense aroma, okay, that would be the sign that we could now pour our
Mga ka-agri-friends, if wala ta atong uban nga mga spices or seasoning, we can use only the curry powder.
Yes, you can use yung tig 5 lang ata yun sa palengke, isang sachet, pwede na yun. That's good. Okay, so I'm just gonna set this aside.
About how many po yung water?
I added about, wait, let me check. This is probably around 500 ml, more or less, 450 to 500 ml. And then, next would be, I have here pan-fried tofu. We pan-fried it as a block. After that, we cut it into 4 portions. Okay, so I'm gonna pour it there. So, the only thing that's missing, this is actually almost done. We just wanna simmer this to enable the flavor of the curry to be absorbed by the tofu, and we're gonna give it some time so that the water can absorb all the other flavors of all our spices, especially our cardamom. It's dry pa kasi, so it's probably gonna take a few minutes before ma-rehydrate at before mag-release ng flavor. So we're gonna wait for this to simmer. Once it starts to simmer, we're gonna slightly thicken it. Then once it's a bit thick, that is the time that I'm going to start seasoning it with salt and pepper and evaluate the taste. If it needs a bit of sugar or more sugar, or if it's matabang, what you can do is reduce it further. Because what happens when you reduce something, whenever you reduce a liquid, okay, if you're cooking something, what happens is that the flavors get concentrated. Okay, so this is, just give it a bit of time. Gonna give it a quick stir.
Fast forward.
Oo, so this is probably gonna take around 10 minutes siguro.
So 10 minutes mga ka-agri-friends. So sa inyo makita or ma-observe, mo thickening or mo lapot siya,
Yes.
and then it's ready.
Yeah, once it's thick. The reason why I'm doing that is because I want the flavor to be very well concentrated. Oh.
Sa buong bansa
mauna ni siya karon ang result.
So now, the reason why we simmer this and reduce this is that to give time for our tofu to absorb the flavor and also to reduce the liquid and to thicken it. Now, what happens when you reduce a liquid? So basically, you are able to concentrate the flavor. Okay? So now that I can see it's already thick enough, I'm now gonna season this with salt and pepper to taste. So I'm gonna give it a quick stir. Okay. Now, Chef, what if kung nasobrahan sa anghang sa sili, how do we get rid of the anghang? Okay, kung tipong pagtikim ninyo, nagsisisi na kayo, feeling sorry na kayo, napapaubo na kayo sa anghang, what you can do is to add more gata. Or you can also use yogurt. Okay? So now, I am just going to taste this one. So make sure when you taste, bawal double dipping ha, hindi magtatama sa tasting spoon ang ating ladle. Or you can prepare a separate bowl for yourself. So I can taste na the flavors there. It's already nice. I'm now just gonna add our coconut sugar.
So, Chef, quiz kung wala.
Okay.
Okay, pag wala pong, ano pong substitution pag wala pong cocoa sugar?
Since this is expensive, you can substitute it with muscovado or brown sugar. Okay? Actually, it depends. Some people don't like curry that's sweet. Okay? But some people love slightly sweet or sweet curry. So just adjust the flavor accordingly depending on your taste. So now, again, this is just the final adjustments. Okay. I'm gonna add more, then that's it. So I added about 1 tablespoon of coconut sugar kanina. I'm gonna add about half a tablespoon of coconut sugar. And then, that's it. As you can see, it's already thick. Look, it's already like a gravy. Then all the flavors have already been incorporated. Now, para masumarap, from healthy to a bit not so healthy. So I'm gonna add cream cheese. Preferably use cottage cheese, okay? If you can find cottage cheese kasi lower ang fat niya. Then once you've added the cream cheese, be gentle with stirring the curry kasi baka madurog, or if you can, avoid stirring it na lang. Then last, we have here our gata. So I added about 1/4 cup of gata. I'm gonna give it a quick stir.
Gata at cocoa milk po. Gata.
Yes. Now, if you're gonna do this at home, use the fresh one na lang. Use the unang piga, okay, the cream. But if you intend to serve this in your restaurant as a business, the problem is if you use the fresh one, yung shelf life. Okay? Masira kagad, baka mawala yung ganansya natin. So we can use the powdered one or the canned because it has a longer shelf life compared to the fresh ones. So, yes. So now, we are done. We will now go to the fun part. Okay, let me switch off the heat.
Mga ka-friends. Okay, amo taste test. Test taste. Sa tinik-tik, kapanikat na.
Sa buong bansa, masaganang ani, mataas na kita, maunlad na buhay ng mga magsasaka.
So this is our first dish, our tofu curry. with cottage cheese.
Tofu curry. Okay. So mga ka-agri-friends, sumanagit ta sa ato ang first nga recipe no, which is ang tofu curry with
cottage cheese.
yes. So pangalan pa lang.
Makagutom na.
So karon Kuya Vic.
So next nga atong lutuon nga recipe is the nori mayonnaise wasabi honey salmon. And then for the recipe, the second recipe is here's Chef Troy again para sa cooking demo.
Okay, so for our second recipe, this is a lot easier and faster to do. So again, the name of our recipe is nori mayo wasabi honey salmon salad. So for our ingredients, we have here romaine lettuce. If you can find romaine lettuce, other options would be iceberg. Or if you want a bit more of varying flavors, meron konting bitter, you can use mesclun because most of the mesclun I've seen has arugula also in it. I have here fresh tomatoes, I have here cucumber, and of course I have here ripe sweet mangoes. Nori, we have here our mayonnaise, our wasabi, and honey. Okay? So now, this is very easy to do. First,
ang ato ang chef, atong
and of course, our salmon. Now, if nahirapan kayo maghanap na salmon and if you want to find an easier, cheaper alternative, you can use tuna, okay, malasuge, okay? So you can use that. So now let's begin. So first thing we're gonna prepare is the dressing. So I have here mayonnaise. Just squeeze it sa bowl. And then, I have here about, this is probably about 1/3 cup of mayonnaise. And then I'm gonna add kikoman. Kikoman, I'm not gonna add too much. You just want this for color, ha? You want this not really to bring out the flavor, but just to help give a bit of color and very mild lang na lasa.
Chef, pwede po pong gamitin ang other brand like Silver Swan or yun yung common na kitchen,
if you use that, it would lose that flavor profile na Japanese kasi iba yung profile ng if you use that to puti Silver Swan. So I'd rather really stick to recommend Kikoman.
may distinct flavors.
Okay. So next would be I love wasabi. I love wasabi na pag tinikman ko, gusto ko meron nagre-register sa aking nose afterwards. But I don't know with you guys. So, since we're all gonna taste this dish, again, konti, mid, marami. What do you want? Hint lang ba?
Hint, yeah.
Okay, hint. So I placed about 1 teaspoon of wasabi. And then next will be, okay, just give it a stir. Just make sure you're able to stir it properly, ha? Kasi pag di nyo nahalo ng maayos, tapos pag subo, nung kakain, meron isang malaking lump ng wasabi, medyo masakit. Okay, so just make sure, yes. Yes.
Mga ka-agri-friends ko sa ato pa, sa Bisaya pa, dapat wala siya magtibugol nga mga parts sa wasabi, kay halang din siya.
Yan, okay. So next will be, again, honey. Depending on how sweet you want it. Okay? So, and also depending on the brand of your mayonnaise. So, you have to taste first your mayonnaise. Ano ba itong mayonnaise na ginagamit ko? Is this more of rich na flavor? Okay, really fatty, creamy? Or is it more on the sweet side? Kasi kung matamis na yung mayo, you're gonna have to adjust and lessen the amount of honey. So, I'm gonna add about 1.5 tablespoon of honey. Then, napakadali. We are actually almost done. Next is just have to mix and plate this.
So, ito pong dish na to po, chef, is for snacks or pwede na po din gawing meal?
Okay, this can be served as an appetizer salad or a main course salad depending on the amount of greens you're gonna serve. Okay? So kung maliit lang, hindi filling, parang size lang ng platito or a small bowl, could be served as an appetizer. But kung gusto nyo talagang huge chunk of fish, a generous amount of greens, vegetables, then can be considered as a main course salad. Okay, for me, it's perfect.
Wow. So we're done here, and for the plating na lang po, chef, ano?
Okay, yes, so now, I'm gonna start plating. By the way, our salmon here has been seasoned with just salt and pepper, then pinigaan ng calamansi and pan-fried in advance. Okay? You wanna serve this a bit cold, okay? Kasi if you serve it hot, what's gonna happen is papatayin niya, malalanta lahat ng dahon. Okay? So, first thing I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna add muna dito a bit of the dressing.
So, plating talaga.
Okay. And then followed by a bit of our romaine lettuce. Our tomatoes. And then, lagyan natin ng konting dressing. Okay, so now we've added our second layer of nori. Again, add a bit of dressing. Okay, and our romaine lettuce. Followed by a bit of cucumber. Tomatoes. Okay. And then let's put some mangoes. Okay. So next, again, just to make sure there's flavor, I'm gonna drizzle a bit of the mayo honey wasabi dressing. And then to finish it off, to complete our plating, we are now going to place our pan-fried salmon. Okay? And then next would be to add a bit of mangoes for color. Okay, and then last, then okay, just a bit for contrast lang. More edible flowers. Okay, and then there you have it. Our nori mayo wasabi honey salmon salad.
Yes. So mga ka-agrifriends, for those of you nga gawonder kung unsa ang posting sa atong recipe karon, i-flash lang namo sa mga screens later. And for moving on, our next recipe is chicken wraps. So Chef Troy, take it away.
Okay, so now we are on our third recipe. So for our ingredients, we have here chicken breast fillet. We just seasoned with salt and pepper and then we grilled it. Salt, pepper. We have our pita bread. We have here cucumber, thinly sliced cucumber. We have here red onions, lettuce, garlic, thyme, cayenne, cumin, and sugar, mayonnaise, and finally, yogurt. Okay, so first thing that we have to do is to prepare our aioli. What is aioli? So, simply put, aioli is just garlic mayo. So I have here garlic, okay? It has been turned into a garlic paste, so you really have to chop it really fine and then you have to keep on scraping it with your knife until it turns into a paste.
So, we
Okay.
can use blender or no?
You can use blender naman if you want to prepare this. So the thing with aioli is that, let's say now you can see me preparing it already.
Mix na lang siya talaga.
If you taste it, and then you taste in your taste buds, ay parang kulang pa yung garlic. I'm gonna add more. Don't do that because within siguro mga 20 to 30 minutes, magi-start na mag-intensify yung lasa ng bawang. Maa-absorb na ng
Mayo.
mayonnaise. So, if I mix this now, like this, and if I taste it, some of you, okay, might think na, ay, kulang pa sa bawang, dagdagan natin. No. Just leave it alone, let it rest for about 20 minutes, and then come back. You'll be surprised. Stronger na yung garlic. Okay? So again, standard in everything that we do. Always do not forget to season with
Pepper and salt.
salt and pepper.
Talaga kasi yung parang main.
Okay. So, now, tulad ng sabi ko, napakadali nitong recipe to. Mag-a-assemble na tayo. We are almost done kaagad. So here, I'm gonna heat my pan just to heat our pita bread. Okay. Chef, sa lugar namin, ang hirap maghanap ng tortilla bread or pita bread sa grocery. Pwede bang gawin na lang namin sa bahay yan para makatipid? Yes, you can. So what you need is 1 kilogram of all-purpose flour, okay, 500 ml of water, 120 grams of shortening, okay, or canola oil will do, and about 120 to 150 grams of sugar. The more sugar you put, the softer it will become. The more fat you put, the softer, the more pliable it will be. And the longer the shelf life will be. Tsaka yung iba kasing nabibili sa market, pag di mo kagad nagamit, nahanginan lang, nagka-crack agad, parang crackers na. You can't use it anymore. So, the higher the sugar, the higher the fat, then the more pliable, the softer it will be. Okay? So, I'm just gonna heat both sides.
Pwede din po yung ordinary na pan lang yung gamitin.
Yes, basta yung flat lang. Now, going back to the recipe that I gave you, you just mix all dry ingredients together and then make a well in the center, pour the water, and then you knead it until smooth. Chef, gaano kakinis? Tingnan ninyo yung upuan ng mga kotse ninyo kung gaano kakinis yung leather seat covers. Okay? Pag na-achieve nyo na yon, i-portion out nyo na, round it, about siguro matig 70 to 80 grams. Rest it for about 20 to 30 minutes. Make sure it's covered, protected from air. Kasi pag pinabayaan nyo siyang nahahanginan, okay, what will happen is titigas yung outer layer ng dough, magkakaroon ng crust formation. Para magiging mentos na siya. Crunchy on the outside, soft on the inside. So now, we'll begin. So here we have our prepared aioli. Dun sa mga ayaw masyado mag-diet, pwede nyo to lagyan ng napakaraming cheese. You can put cheddar cheese inside. Kung gusto nyo padagdagan ng isa pang cheese, cream cheese, bagay na bagay din dyan. Okay? The next will be, we're gonna add a bit of our lettuce. Okay, and then followed by our chicken.
So if pangbahay lang po ito, chef, so it depends on you na lang kung ilan or gano'ng karami yung chicken na ilagay mo.
Yes, it's up to you.
Okay.
Kung pangbahay, syempre, we're gonna feed our family, then might as well be very, very generous since pamilya naman natin kakain. Then, if for business, you just have to consider na lang, if I add too much, will it still be affordable? Marami pa bang makakabili? If it's gonna be too expensive, then might as well adjust a bit. Okay, next. I'm gonna make my, a simpler version of my Cajun seasoning. So I have here thyme, I have here cayenne, cumin. I'm using coconut sugar. And then I'm gonna add pepper, then also a bit of salt. Okay. I'm gonna give it a stir. Okay, mix it until all the ingredients are well incorporated together. Okay, so that's it. So next thing we gotta do is to generously sprinkle this on top of our chicken. Okay. Para naman medyo iba ang lasa niya, unique yung flavor na binibigay. And then next, place your cucumber. Make sure it's thinly sliced, okay? Kasi pag masyado makapal, medyo mahirapan tayo mag-roll mamaya, tas baka magkaroon pa ng risk if it's too thick, mabutas pa yung dough, okay? Pagdating naman sa onions, I know some people don't like eating raw onions eh. So, kayo na lang mag-adjust, okay? If you like onions, then you can put a lot. If not, then you can adjust it according to your taste. And now, finally, we're now gonna add yogurt. Okay. Kung gusto ninyong medyo kakaiba yung lasa, bumili kayo ng fresh mint leaves. Chop it finely, mix it with your yogurt, then put it here. Para mas refreshing siya. Okay? So now, what we're gonna do is roll this one. Okay? So I'm gonna cut it now. Okay, cut the sides. Secure it with a toothpick just to be sure na hindi siya mag fall apart. Okay? The next, nako, I'm sure nanghihinaya na yung iba sa inyo. Nako, pinutol na naman ni Chef, nabawasan. Okay. Kayo mag-alala, para sa akin yan. Okay. Again, walang sayang. Sisiguraduhin kong busog ang chef. Okay. So here on the side, just in case medyo mabitin yung iba sa inyo sa flavor, okay, I'm gonna add a bit more aioli. So just in case gusto nilang medyo mas malasa. Okay. And then finally, to finish, ito lang, just again, just for konting drama lang, just for color. Okay, so
we're done.
We're done.
And chef, pahabol lang po, if ever nawala yung mga
Cajun.
yung Cajun na na seasoning or any alternate po.
Kung wala yung Cajun spice, maski salt, pepper will do. Dagdagan nyo na lang ng cheese. Okay? And maybe a little bit heavier on the aioli. Okay?
Mga ka-AgriFriends, naanagita karon sa itong ikaupat na recipe, which is ang ampalaya salad. And take note ha, tudluan ta ni Chef Troy og teknik kung unsaon aron dili mahimong pait gyud kaayo ang ato ang ampalaya. Chef Troy?
Okay, so for our fourth and final recipe for today, we have here ampalaya salad. So for our ingredients, we have here again salt and pepper, Parmesan cheese, fresh ampalaya. We have here fresh red tomatoes. I have here coconut sugar. I have here grilled chicken breast, cucumber, red onions, and vinegar. Okay. What kind of vinegar? Dato puti, any type of pangbahay or plain vinegar will do for this recipe. Among all our recipes for today, this is actually the easiest to make and also the cheapest. Cheapest. Okay, so let's begin. So, a lot of my colleagues, even friends, takot dito tumikim. Okay, ayaw nila kainin kasi pait. Di nila ako nakikitang nag-degorge with salt. So, chef, baka sobrang pait niyan. Sabi ko, no. The secret is with the way you slice it. I slice my ampalaya very, very thin. Since it's thin enough, ma-absorb ng vinegar yung pait niya. Tapos at the same time, since I'm adding sugar, this is also thin enough for it to be able to fully absorb the sweetness of the sugar. So later, magugulat kayo, magbabalance out yung flavors niya. So, first thing we have to do is to add our vinegar. Okay. Chef, gaano karaming vinegar? Imagine niyo na lang, tingnan niyo na lang sa mata. Basta importante, enough to soak, okay, or makutan kada ampalaya. Gusto mo lang makutan siya ng suka. Okay? See? If you can see the vinegar, marami pa siya doon sa baba. Then, as I'm mixing this, nadidistribute yung suka. Okay? Next thing I'm gonna do is to add onions. Okay, thinly sliced red onions. Followed by cucumber. Then kamatis. Okay. Then give it a stir. Next will be, di naman masarap to kung asim lang at pait. So we have to cut the asim and the pait by adding sugar. Okay? Again, you can use, kung masyadong mahal ang cocoa sugar, you can use muscovado or brown sugar. Okay. So, now basically this dish is done. But even though napakadali niya gawin, hindi niyo pa ito pwede kainin. Okay? Bakit? Pag kinain nyo ngayon yan, masyado pang mapait kasi hindi pa na-extract or nasisip-sip palabas yung pait ng ampalaya. At the same time, yung sugar na pinatamis ko, hindi pa na-absorb ng ampalaya. So you have to keep this inside your refrigerator and wait for at least 20 to 30 minutes hanggang lumamig siya. Now, the longer you wait, kung kaya tiisin na at least 2 hours later na lang, the better. Mas maganda ang blending ng flavors at ingredients.
Hindi na siya bitter.
Hindi na siya bitter. Oo. Oo, better na siya. So now, I'm gonna add chicken. But when I do this at home, I use delata lang na tuna. I just drain it.
Yung chicken is ilalagay right after ma-ref na siya?
Yes, right after ref na siya. The only reason I added it now is for plating purposes. Okay. So now, we will make believe. So we will pretend na tapos na ang 20 to 30 minutes or gawin na natin 2 hours para mas masarap siya. I will now transfer this. Okay. So again, you have to wait kasi pag kinain nyo to immediately, sabihin nyo, ano ba naman yan si chef? Ang sama naman ang lasa nitong pait-pait. Again, mag-aantay, mawawala ang pait niyan if you wait patiently. Okay, next will be our Parmesan cheese. So, kung mahilig kayo sa cheese, then you can add a generous amount of cheese. And again, finally, we can just put a bit of our edible flowers. So, that's it. I hope you liked our webinar session today, and I hope that you have learned something new.
Mga ka-AgriFriends, ready to eat na ang ato ang mga recipe nga healthy o para gyud sa atong Nutrition Month special made by our master chef.
And this time, atong i-invite si Chef G sa pag-enroll or pag-involve sa atong CIC partner.
Yes, thank you. So, sa mga interesado nga gusto magpa-enroll o culinary, we offer culinary, baking, and also barista. Pwede mo anhi, you are most welcome to come at CIC Legacy Building, 3rd floor, across Yakimix. Thank you.
Yes, so sa kung gusto mag-enroll, dili lang kay sa luto, pwede po baking, anhi lang mo sa CIC Fronting Yakimix.
Ang ating tanong of the episode for today is, unsa ang pwedeng gamiton nga alternative ingredients sa karne or pork meat? Again, unsa ang pwedeng gamiton nga alternative ingredients sa karne or pork meat? PM us your answer and get a chance to win water tumbler, umbrella, and mug. Make sure sad mga ka-AgriFriends nga na-registered kamo ani nga webinar and maka-overall evaluation kamo. Aron valid ang iyong entry. So, unsa pa yung gihulat? Answer na!
Mga ka-AgriFriends, don't forget to like us on our social media page on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, at ATI North Main.
Ug ayaw sad kalimot pagbisita sa ato ang webpage www.ati.da.gov.ph/ATI-10. Ug ayaw kalimot enroll sa among e-learning at e-extension.gov.ph. Hangtod sa sunod natong panag-uban mga ka-AgriFriends, I hope nga daghan mo og natunan ani nga episode. I am Cass.
And I am Vic.
I'm Chef Troy.
I am Chef G.
And this is AgriStoryahay sa ATI Webinar Series
EduVlog Edition Nutrition Month Special.
Teknolohiya, subsidio, patubig at infrastructure.